my one amazing day as being December 15th, 2008. And 2008 was an amazing year for me. This picture is actually from 2008. This was taken.
And her picture is big enough that if you want to see it before, hold it up a little bit.
This was actually taken on my honeymoon. I got married in 2008 in a size 28 wedding gown. It was an amazing day. I mean, it felt beautiful, loved it. It was awesome. Honeymoon, get on that plane, seatbelt extender. You know, there's little things like that. You know, if you're been overweight, or there's things you don't think about, things that get thrown at you at life that just kind of make you think, oh, you know, wow. Still didn't wake me up. A little bit later that year, I went to my doctor, and she goes, your blood pressure's high. Are you on medicine? No. Well, she took it again. She's like, we need to get this, you know, kind of under control. For whatever reason, I was living in a bubble, and I never thought that my weight was going to affect me. I've been overweight, I joke and say since birth, but that's not in fact true. I was a reasonably sized baby. But in kindergarten, so that's practically, you know, the same thing. But I didn't think that it was going to affect my health. And then to have that put in my face was a huge shock to me. I remember I got in the car and I just sobbed. I cried. I was so embarrassed and I was so ashamed that I'd let myself get to this. 327 pounds is what I weighed on the first day that I went to Weight Watchers. It was an interesting day. It was close to the holidays, and my husband and I were sitting there. And I'm from the South. I don't know how many of you are, but if you've ever had sausage cheese balls.
Love me some sausage cheese
balls.
Oh,
Lord help me, me too. I was on my 5th plate of those, and I was just so full. I was so full. I just felt terrible about myself. I felt like I was going to just burst open at any minute. I looked at my husband and I said, I'm going to Weight Watchers. He's like, now? I'm like, yeah. And I put that plate down and I went to my first meeting and I never looked back. It took me 3 years and 3 months to get half of my weight off. You know, I could have done it a little faster if I'd have been a little more diligent on some days, but I always tell everyone, I'm like, don't rush it. You didn't put that weight on overnight. You shouldn't expect to take it off overnight, and it's not healthy to do that either. But it's just, the program itself is amazing. I've tried probably every diet under the sun, and I'm not going to name any names because that's not nice. But Weight Watchers, I can't, you know, and they always, you know, are so thankful to, you know, have me come and speak at these things, but I'll go sing their praises anywhere, because I got my life. I got a life that I didn't know that I was missing out on. I spent so many years overweight, and I mean, I ran a marathon last year. In case you don't know, that's 26.2 miles. This woman couldn't even go up her stairs without getting winded. And it's amazing. I'm finally living life, and I can't tell you how awesome that is and how good that feels. You know, reaching goal, also very cool. But kind of back to the whole program thing, what I like to tell people is small changes. Folks are under the impression that, well, if I want to lose weight, I got to get out there and get just grilled chicken and broccoli and carrots, and that's how I got to do it. And that's not true. It's making small changes. It's making the small adjustments in life. The things I eat right now are way different than what when I started the plan. And that's the nice thing is it, you know, it tapers down, and you can you make the adjustments as you go through. Just trying to think what else I love about the plan. I love so many things about the plan.
You probably love fitting in that little dress right there. That's what I love about the plan.
Well, no, and that's another thing. I didn't know how many fabulous stores there are to shop in. Hello, I was, you know,
I'm sure you love that too.
I know, poor thing. I always tell him one of my big things is if I'm having like a stressful day or something like that, I won't go home, because if I get in the kitchen, bad things sometimes can happen. So I'll go shopping, and I always say that I love that, but my husband probably really doesn't love that I do that. You know, but just, I can't tell you how good it feels. So, you know, just work at it every day. You just work at it, and that's...
Candace, I have one thing that I would love if you would share, and I was very impressed with how many sizes you changed.
Well, like I said, I started the plan. I was a size 28, and I'm a size 8 now.
Slightly different.
Just a hair. I don't know if you guys saw the CBS interview. I had my old pants out.
I did.
And I hadn't had them out in a while, and I was just like, are you joking right now? And
You could literally put her in one leg.
Wow. Yeah, it's obscene, but...
I know we got questions also
yeah,
for
ask
Candace.
me. I'm a total open book, so go ahead.
So, living life now, obviously you're confident with the plans, but do you feel like sometimes it's a struggle too, just with old habits coming back and feeling, oh, I'm not perfect? I do that black and white thinking too, you know,
Yes.
and then I just, you know, screw up the day, and then it evolves into a negative, which is such a mental thing.
It is.
I know, and I know what to do. I think we all do. It's a matter of doing it, but it's just how are your struggles, or how do you overcome reverting back to past habits?
You know, I struggle a good bit. I think that's another misconception. People say, you know, since I've
Like you're
met
there, and now you're everything's
everything's
wonderful.
perfect.
Right,
It's all
right.
roses, and I dance, you know, with the daisies out in the sun. And
And the birds are singing.
yes, there's birds chirping. But and that's just it's far from it. And a lot of it is mental. And one of the things I had to learn early on is you're not perfect, and that's okay. You're a human. When life happens and you make a mistake, or you know, I say mistake, quote unquote. You know, you have a binge, or you eat something that you
Find
didn't
some
really
chocolate
plan
covered
on it.
Oreos.
Yeah.
You're gonna make me find.
Sorry.
Sorry. Inside joke. I'll tell you later.
You can't beat yourself up.
Right.
You're a human. For me, it was a big struggle of, well, then I would say, well, you know, I blew it at lunch, so let's just
Right.
go, you know, whatever,
Free-for-all.
have the week, and no, you know what, you stop right there. I try to assess it, and I say, what happened right there? What was I feeling? Why did I do that? I try to learn from it and move on. The next meal is the next meal. It's day by day. Another thing I love about Weight Watchers is it's small. When I started this, I had a lot of weight to lose, 160 pounds. That's a lot to wrap your head around. And the nice thing is they said, no, let's focus on 5%. 5% came. Let's focus on 10%. 10% came. And then let's focus on 5 pounds. Come on in. You're fine.
Don't sit there. She's sitting there. You got to sit there.
5 pounds. Anybody can lose 5 pounds. I just happen to have done it a lot of times. You know, so
Is that
yes,
easier
yes.
for everybody to wrap their head around?
Yes.
Don't look at the big picture.
Break it down.
Yes,
I have
ma'am.
a question. When you first started, what did you do for exercise?
That's a very good question. You know, I just told you that I'm a marathon runner. I actually lost my first 90 pounds without regular exercise. Not something I recommend. I wish I had gotten into the gym earlier, but for reasons of, you know, I was self-conscious and things of that nature, I just didn't get into it. And I started spinning when I'd lost about 90 pounds, and it was great because it was in a dark room, so nobody could see that I was on the brink of death. And it was like my thing, and it was upbeat music and spunky little instructor, and I just took off from there, and I got involved with a great gym and wonderful classes from there. I remember I went to, from spin, you know, I went to like a boot camp class, which I always would see these women, you know, doing the boot camp class, and I'd always think to myself, oh, I'll never be able to do that. Someone convinced me to do it. I love it. You know, I got into running. So I always tell people, do what you love, because if you don't like it, you're not going to do it. And if it's, you don't have to start out running. Walk, take a walk, you know, walk your dog, whatever you enjoy doing. And I do a lot of DVDs and things like that at home too, you know, just for ease if I need something quick.
I have a question. I can relate to a lot of what you said about like a seatbelt extender, being able to shop in regular stores and that type of thing. And so I'm curious, once you got to a point where there were fewer of those obvious things that were impacting your life and things you couldn't do, what made you say, but I'm going all the way? Like that gap between, you know, where
That's a
life
great
is
question.
really
And a very appropriate question for you because you've lost a lot of weight, right? Tell people just real quick how much you've lost, roughly.
almost 60.
Almost
Wow,
60.
that's awesome.
Okay. So how did you keep
But I
going?
did it in July, and I haven't moved much beyond that. yet.
Maintaining though,
And that's
beautifully.
okay. No, that's a really good question. I think for me it was, well, you know, I'd already seen the success that I had, and I had come so far. I said I was enjoying life so much more. Why not see where else I could take this? And I'm telling you right now, where I am right now, versus like let's just say half, 80 pounds in, it's a huge difference. It's just, you know, it's living, finally living. So for me, I just kept that, and I didn't actually set a goal for myself until I was really far into my journey, because I didn't want to focus on that end result. I wanted to keep it small and, you know, something I could really wrap my head around. So I think also doing that helps.
No matter what stage you're on, still looking just 5 pounds, right? Right. Anybody else have a question for Candace? Candace has been very nice and gracious to say she'll also stick around after.
Yes.
So if you want to see her before picture of Gloucester Personal and her looking pretty good.
And I actually do a Facebook page and a blog if you guys are interested. It's Candace McCain, half my size. I post a lot of pictures of what I'm eating, what I'm doing, things of that nature. My story, if you guys had all day, I could keep you here all day. There's a lot of stuff. So I have a lot of struggles, you know, that I think a lot of people go through, emotional eating and things like that, that I kind of talk on.
And Candace McCain, right? I'll spell it out for those of us who are challenged. Okay. And will you have your CBS interview on there too?
It is on there.
It is on there, so you can also see her interview.
What center were you at? Were you here in the Atlanta area?
Yes, I'm actually a Georgia native, born and raised in Cumming, Georgia. So.
Okay, so you're at a Cumming site?
Yeah.
Okay. Up there is where you, do you continue to go to the meetings?
Well,
or
I have been doing the online. You know, I'm just
She
in
did
my-
both.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I'm just in my first year of maintenance, which I am convinced is harder than losing the weight. But I think I had kind of gotten so good at losing weight, you
Right,
know.
right.
And when I hit goal, it was kind of like, oh, okay. But then you got to step into the maintenance. I want to get back into meetings because I think that the support and the encouragement that you find in this room,
Right.
you can't get online. I mean, I think the online is great, you know, but I think I'm going to get back into meetings.
That's great, congratulations. How did People Magazine find you, or did you recommend yourself?
Well, you can.
This is very important, by the way, because we can hook you up. I just want to throw up. All right.
I had done one of the weight loss success story contests
Okay.
2 years ago, and
Yes.
I was one of the 100 runners-up, which got me in touch with some of the fabulous PR folks at Weight Watchers Corporate, and they approached me and said, we'd like to submit you for the people half their size. Well, this was last year, and I wasn't quite there yet, so they said, okay, no big deal, we'll hold you for 2013.
Great.
So I got contacted in September, and she said, well, let's go ahead with this. And I said, all right, let's do it. And yeah, they picked my story, and
Very nice.
yeah, it's
Exciting.
yeah.
Good for you.
Who
That's
wants
great.
to
Very
Who wants to
inspiring.
be an inspiring story for somebody else? Right?
It's
We have them all the time in the AJC too. You were in the AJC, right? See,
Yeah,
I really
think
did.
I really did stalk you.
You don't know me very well.
Google search will turn up a lot on me.
All
Trust me,
right.
I keep an eye on all this.
Anybody else have anything?
Yeah.
I have a question. So how do you handle, this might sound odd, but when you lose a lot and you see people that you haven't seen in a long time, and they give you tons and tons of praise, but you know you still have further to go, how, can you have any tips on that?
I do.
Because I'm at that point now,
I do have
and I
a lot
don't know.
on that. And my biggest thing is, and I didn't even realize I was doing this until someone pointed it out to me. While I was still on the journey, you know, at whatever X amount to goal, people would give me compliments, and my initial reaction to them was, oh, well, I still have such and such to go. And so I immediately would down myself
I do that.
when,
Yeah.
and one of my leaders said, stop it. Stop it. You accept the praise and just, no, don't say, but I still have to go. Because what you've done is already awesome.
Yeah.
And so really just stopping. And I have to stop myself, even now, when people give me compliments. Because I initially want to revert back to that, you know, well, but I could work on this, or I could work on that. You know, we could do that to ourselves all day long. But the point is you're making healthier changes in your life, And that's awesome, regardless of the amount of weight that you've lost.
But how do you get to that mentality, well, God, everybody else thinks I look good, so I feel good, so maybe I don't need to go to that next level.
Well,
I mean, I know I do, but.
I know for me,
It's
I
like
wanted
kind
to
of
be,
mental.
in a healthy weight range. That was my big driving thing. There's tons of reasons, that you want to be in that healthy weight range, for health reasons and things like that. Because for me, it evolved from losing weight to becoming healthy. Along the journey, it stopped being about what size I wanted to be and what weight I wanted to be, but what I wanted to do for myself, my future, my unborn children, all that. And so I think once you can start being, driving yourself towards just, the health aspect of it instead of the scale, don't let that scale rule you.
That makes a lot of sense.
You're very welcome.
Anybody else have anything else for Candace? Okay, so Candace, you can stay for a little while, you said? All right, is that good? We got a whole bunch of brunch we got.